Hi, welcome to Hot Topics Live, the show, the podcast. I'm Kia. I'm the creator and host of the Female Veterans Podcast, Women Warrior Stories for the Veterans Channel, and success coach at London Real Academy. And today we're going to have a show all about transformation, effective leadership, and just inspiring your people. Because, well, whether you are a mom, a husband, a partner, a teacher, no matter what your role is in life, you have to lead someone at some point and you have to inspire them to follow your orders or your lead at some point along the way, right? So this really appeals and applies to everyone, okay? And I have someone extraordinary next to me today. I know you love her already because I keep getting messages to bring back Matilda. So, back by popular demand, my beautiful, successful, lovely friend and co-host, Matilda of Coffee with Matilda.
Hello, Kian audience. I'm very happy to be back here. I'm excited.
Oh, I'm so happy to
Thank
have
you
you
for
back.
introduction,
Of course.
Kia.
So tell me, what have you been up to since I last saw you?
Well, I was in Armenia. Now I'm back in LA. And I'm in LA right now and trying to figure out life. I'm trying to think if I should get vaccine or not vaccine. So I'm in that process.
You know what? A lot of people are in that process of deciding whether to get the vaccine or not. You know, I'm already vaccinated. Okay. So I just felt I have a compromised immune system and I want to travel. So I just felt like it was the safest choice for me. I tried to do the best that I could with looking at scholarly articles and doing the research as well as I can for myself, and I made that decision. Dr. Larry Brilliant, he is a epidemiologist, and
Mhm.
he worked with smallpox. And so he has a great book out about vaccines, and he did an interview with Seth MacFarlane on his Instagram Live, and they talked all about it. And after that, I was fairly convinced. So, I mean, when you listen to someone who actually works in that field, and who is, I have to use my discernment, and he seemed genuine and seemed honest, and I did some research on him and I felt comfortable listening to what he had to say, coupled with my own research from scholarly articles and
Mhm.
science, real actual science and not just opinions, and blogs. I made up my mind, and I got to tell you, I was really nervous to do it. I went through the VA healthcare system, which we all know isn't at best here in the States. And so, but they seemed like they wanted to disqualify me. And they were asking me all these questions to like sort of rule me out, which is the opposite of what I thought was going to happen, because I thought, they wanted to push the vaccine on us,
Mhm.
right? So that was like eye-opening for me too. And then afterwards, I will tell you, I felt fine. I had a slight bit of an allergic reaction, and
Mhm.
I took some Benadryl after the second shot. The first shot left me tired, and like I said, I had a mild reaction. I'm very sensitive, so um, so that's what happened with me with the vaccination, and I feel fine. I'm still intuitive. I was worried that I was told by someone that I would not have my intuitive abilities anymore. No, I'm still intuitive. I still have my gifts. Thank you. So I'm still claircognizant. All my clairs are in order for any of you that are about that life. But yeah, so that's how I am with it. So I would say do it, but that's just my opinion. I think it's a choice you have to make for yourself.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it as well because I'm ready. I'm ready. I need to travel and I have that peace of mind a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's I think
Mm-hmm.
the important part of it.
Mm-hmm. And I
So
think I think the writing's on the wall here. I think the global community is saying that the vaccine is going to be mandated to keep people safe, and that's the
mhm.
general belief. Um, and I was really skeptical at first. I know I'm a veteran, right? And I have acquired illnesses from serving in the military that I don't know where they came from, and I always felt that they came from vaccines So, so I know that vaccines can harm people. It's not, people are not just making this up. They're not just being crazy. I know that it does happen. I've interviewed people on my podcast that had adverse reactions from anthrax, but, you know, I think we have to weigh things out and take things with caution. And I think what we're seeing also is that people are dying and getting really sick,
Yeah.
and then wishing they had taken the vaccine, because, you know, it doesn't prevent you from getting it. It just means you may not get hospitalized. You might not end up on a ventilator and all of that kind of stuff. So I think you got to just decide for yourself and, you know, be comfortable with that choice. I'm very comfortable with it. I would tell anyone to get it. Based on my experience. And I'm one of those people that was like a 180. Like, I was very skeptical at first, and now feel more like, yeah, it's probably the right thing to do. So,
True.
hi Tendai. Hi honey. Thanks for tuning in. I'm
Yeah.
happy that you could make it. I know you're usually working. And oh, my other sweetheart is here. Hi, George. Thanks for tuning in, honey. I appreciate you. I want to give you my condolences about your mom. I'm sending you lots of love. Okay, honey. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. So, Matilda,
Yes.
we have a guest.
Uh-huh.
He is pretty extraordinary. And in fact, he sent me a really big bio, and I'm going to try to I'm going to try to sum it up. But before I do, I see my darling here, Sasha, has turned up. And he's asking me, oh, look who's in his picture with him. Oh, how lovely. So if he's your darling, he's my darling. So
Yes.
he says, Kia, why did I take the vaccine? Well, Sasha, I took the vaccine because I wanted to make sure that I didn't end up on a ventilator. That's why, because I'm a mom, a single mom of 2 boys, and I want to make sure that I'm healthy and well for them. And also, I want to travel, and I want to feel safe to travel, because, you know, I don't. I think I believe in sovereignty, and you have the choice to do to your body what you want to do to your body, absolutely. But I feel like collectively, if we all try to band together to sort of make less hosts available for this virus, it can help us in the long run. That's one school of thought that I'm down with. Also, personally, I just wanted to feel like I was protected, from getting the worst of it. And that's why, honey. That's why I did it. I mean, I wouldn't force it on anyone, but I would say, you know, everyone should make the decision for themselves. And based on my experience with it, I'm fine. I feel good. I actually feel better than I did before I took it. So who knows, science. But anyway, that's my answer, honey. And thanks for asking. Thanks for your concern. So, okay, so let me bring in my darling guest. All right. So he is the CEO of Alame International. Okay. But prior to that, he has 15 years in the corporate world, working at a very high level, transforming the way business is done. I mean, like, let me just get into it, because I don't usually like to read bios, but his is so big, and I don't want to miss anything. But I'm going to touch the high points. So he was the global head of learning and organizational development for an organization called Agility, which is a top 10 global logistics company with over 20,000 employees in over 100 countries. So that just gives you an idea of what he was doing and the scope of it. So he designed and led over 100 successful strategic interventions impacting 2,500 plus leaders, managers, and frontliners from over 30 countries. And focuses include leadership and management development and commercial, operational, and customer service transformation. So his company is based in Switzerland. And he also created a podcast. You know, I love that, called the Alame Podcast, Change Your Company. And it's focused on the people aspect of organizational leadership. So he does have a doctorate in business administration, so that's why we call him Dr. Fawad. And he's actually really extraordinary. He's very, very fit. He's about that fitness life and believes that transformations begin with yourself as a leader, which I absolutely love. Okay, because for my graduate studies, I was all about organizational leadership. That was super important to me, and how to inspire your employees to perform their best, thereby maintaining and increasing your profits, your bottom line. So that's what all my papers were about in graduate school until I started focusing on finance. And so this is why I love so much what he does. So I'm going to bring him in.
Ooh.
Hello,
Hi, sweetie.
hello. Hi, hi.
Hello.
Thank you so much
Hi.
for the introduction, and it's great to be with you.
Oh, I'm glad you're here. So tell me,
Lovely.
where are you and what time is it now?
I'm in Switzerland, and it's almost 9:30 at night. Yeah,
So we are
yeah.
both on the West
Switzerland,
Coast.
where?
Northwest of Switzerland. It's Basel.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So we're so glad to have you here and excited. Oh, look who's here. Hi, Kaula. Glad you turned up for this. Hi, sweetie. So, so Fawad, tell me,
Yeah.
what led you down this path to wanting to impact leaders and transform companies?
Yeah, well, it started with me being a team leader and failing miserably, and I was seeking answers. I was trying to figure out like why I failed, and step by step, I start to get some answers, and I start to work on myself. And when I start to work on myself, I start to feel better, and I start to being more able to influence the people around me, especially my team. And then I really wanted to help others because I saw how others were struggling, and then from then on, at one point, I realized that this is my mission, and I really want to do this work on a much wider scale. And yeah, and the rest of history, at least in for this part of my journey. And yeah, I mean, I loved being with the people. So I was someone who would sit behind my desk and work on my own on Excel sheets and a Word document in terms of submitting offers for customers in response to tenders and bids. And suddenly I knew that my mission is completely the opposite, which is being out with people and motivating them, engaging them, inspiring them to go and to develop themselves and to improve their performance, etc. So this was an amazing journey. Yeah.
Now that you are explaining this, a, a point came to my mind. The fact that you started your journey it because you took responsibility of a mistake or a failure that maybe it wasn't for you directly, but it was from the team. And a lot of leaders actually don't have that capability to take responsibility so they can advance themselves and become a better leader. For being a good leader, I think the first thing is to take responsibility for your team. And
Absolutely.
unfortunately, we don't have that in the world that much.
Absolutely. And I think this was the beginning of the journey in a way that after like failing miserably, I remember I was at the airport and I picked up a book, and I don't know, I had this feeling that I should read it. And I read it, and the message was something that uh, the reason why you are where you are is because you haven't taken responsibility. And I said, like, this is me, this is what what they're talking about. And I don't know why, like that evening when I came back home, the next day I thought I want to do something about it. And the first thing that came to my mind was I should start waking up earlier and do some inner work and get so I can have a better mindset and have more positive energy. And this was the beginning. So taking for responsibility starts with taking for responsibility of our own energy and mindset, and emotions and motivation and results.
Very nice.
Maximum accountability. So this is something we're all familiar with as well from being a part of London Real Academy, and how, you know, until we do that, we're not working at our full capacity. So I love that you pointed that out. And also the inner work, right? That you intuitively picked up this book, right? That's what I heard, right?
Mhm.
And you've got so much out of it. What was it that inspired you to go, okay, let me look at myself and start transforming from the inside out?
Yeah, I mean, I think overall it was like just this deep feeling where there was something missing. There was always something missing, and I wasn't able to figure out what it is. And so, and what happened at one point when I was kind of like becoming so stressed at work, and like disappointment after disappointment. One day I found myself at the emergency room at the hospital, and there I was, they told me that you need to do a surgery, and I was like, I'm not ready. And they said, no, no, you have to do it now. And I felt for a moment like everything got so dark, and I was wondering, why did this happen? And again, the answer was this. And I mean, it's always easier to kind of go and try to find, like, or to put the responsibility on others, right? But in that case, it was so clear it was me. It was me. Like, so, and what's really interesting is that, and this is one of the biggest lessons I learned, is that like when you start to really work on yourself and get better, it's just like everything around you start to reflect that. Like the people, I mean, some people disappear, some people change because you change, and this is like magical in a way. And everything I was, pointing at, and everyone I was pointing at as being responsible for my own situation, was actually the opposite. I was creating it in a way or another.
Well, very true.
It is true. You made a really good point there. I actually just made a TikTok video about this that I'm going to post this week. But it's about people disappearing when you change, right? Sometimes when you're leveling up or you're going through any sort of internal transformation, the people around you form resistance for you, I guess is the best way to put it, by either projecting their fears on you or not being able to see the value of your change. And so they turn their backs on you. And so did you experience a lot of that when you were working through your transformation?
You mean like people challenging you? You mean, or
Yeah, like just when you find that you're changing and this change is for a level up, ultimately, right? It's to improve your life or your experience. um do you find that sometimes you end up having to lose people, or you have to sort of quiet the outside noise of what people are telling you in order to keep moving forward towards your goal?
I think to big extent, like the more we are convinced about what we are doing, and the more we are again doing this work, in a way, things unfold in a more natural way. Like it doesn't have to be kind of like, at least my experience, my journey, wasn't like about I need to push people out, or I need to kind of fight some people. It was more because, happening naturally. In a way, it was happening naturally. Some people just disappeared. and
Mhm.
uh, and I think in a way, like, if we look at it this way, which is all the people around us are there to teach us a lesson. So when you are deliberately like learning the lesson and wanting to grow, so their role, kind of, some of them at least, disappears, right? And that's why this has happened, at least how I see it. Yeah.
So I noticed that Sasha had a question, and then I see that you probably have one too, Matilda. So let me bring up his question, and then we'll go from there. Hang on a second. I just saw it. So here we go. There we go. All right. So Sasha said, you believe in mind and body transformation. Are you close to transhumanism views, or is it just an individual work on yourself? I love him. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know what transhumanism views. I don't know what is that.
Oh.
If you could explain it to me, it would be great. Yeah.
Mm. So
Yeah.
we're going into it even further.
Yeah.
Well, Sasha, do you want to explain?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But for
let
sure, I mean,
Sasha
for sure.
explain.
I want him to explain it.
Yeah.
I'm
For
into it. So we'll wait for his comment. So Matilda, while we're waiting for Sasha, Matilda, I thought you had a question.
Yeah, I want lots of times when you're in this journey, it's going to be it's a painful journey as well. Lots of time in the books or people talk about it, they're glorifying it. And when someone is in that journey, in that process, and says, "Oh my God, it's a very difficult one," I would like you to explain your pain and suffering through that period, because I think it's important people to know you need to be ready emotionally, physically, to endure all of that. Because sometimes the people who are not supporting you are your close family members, your
Mm-hmm.
parents, your children, I don't know, your best friend, people who you have a lot of respect and love for them. And then they discourage you or they look at you a little bit differently. And that's when the pain starts. That's when you're like, oh my God, what am I doing? My pillar or my backbones are questioning me, you know?
yeah. I mean, for sure, a lot of people around us they will challenge us, and especially people who, even if they are very close to us, the fact that they are not maybe how to say it, like they don't want, for example, achieve like big things, or they don't. I mean, so and when they see you like kind of striving for more, or like working very hard, I think they would resist it in a way. Um, but I have to say, I mean, like in that case, I faced these situations a lot, but I think there is also a message there, and I think that these people are trying to kind of to bring you a little bit. Uh, uh, for example, in my case, I know, like, enjoying more life, enjoying more the moment. I think it's important. It's very important. Like, and instead of just waiting for the destination to kind of to kind of enjoy it, and enjoy like this moment, enjoying more like all the steps along the way. So enjoying life, and the journey. So, and that's why, like when I get this kind of comments, I try to listen also deeply instead of just resisting it completely. And yeah, so but for sure, I think, I mean, one of my teachers, he says, like, a lot of people criticize you for what they've given up on, and I think to big extent it is true, right? So a lot of people, they tell you, like, why you're doing this, because actually maybe they want to do it and they're not willing to do so. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And also maybe I just want to, for people that are listening as well, to not be upset about their close people, just like an insight. Maybe, for example, when parents come, they are not very encouraging of you going through that transformation, is because they're afraid of you failing and maybe facing heartbreak of that situation, or they just want to protect you and they don't know better. And I want the people, whoever is listening and they are interested in that journey, to know, okay, you're going to feel pain and you're going to feel some disapproval from your close people, but that's a process. You just need to go through it. You need to feel it inside you so hard that nothing stops you.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, 100%. And at the same time, like, sending them love, at the same time enjoying as much as possible every step, and not postponing it, postponing in the enjoyment of life.
Very nice.
I agree. I agree with both of you, actually. I think I love this quote. I always say this quote by Jay-Z, where he says, "You have to quiet all the outside noise." And they told him he couldn't rap, right? And they told him he wouldn't make it. And he's arguably the biggest guy in the game, as far as hip hop, rap history and stuff like that. So it's just that ability to be able to go, I love you. I know that you really are just concerned for me. You want what's best for me, but I'm doing this. So you got to support me, or you know what? It's okay that you don't agree, but I'm doing it anyway. And
Exactly.
just kind of lean into it and go for it. And also, Angeline agreed with you, Matilda. And so I want to double back because I like the transhumanism thing a lot because I'm a futurist and also I love science. And so we're gonna double back to Sasha's original question, and we're gonna go down this rabbit hole for a minute, but we'll bring it back around because I have more questions for you. So his original question was about if you believed in transhumanism views, or is it just an individual work on yourself? My vote is probably just working on yourself, but he went on to say that transhumanism is an upgrade of humanity based on science and DNA. And I think I like to, as an example for people that might not be familiar with this, I don't know, there was this movie, I think it was called Chappie, and they took the soul of this woman and put it into a robot, sort of. And so I like to say, I joke around and say, I'm by the time I'm gonna live forever because I'm gonna keep getting robot parts put on until I just become a robot, right? So this is sort of the transhumanism thing. It's like upgrading yourself based on science and up like evolutionary DNA, and it's all scientific anyway. But Sasha also says this. Um is not based on science but as a philosophy. Humans are a victim of determinism. Transhumanism is a work and a fight against that. It's also a philosophical view on the evolution of humanity.
Mm.
Hmm. So what
Yeah.
are your thoughts, honey?
Well, I mean, I have to say, I haven't really um, research, and I know like exactly like how working when it comes from the science perspective, what he's referring to about like the evolution, our evolution. I know, for example, like I was reading about Tony Robbins that he was creating kind of a almost a robot like uh, who learned all the strategies that he uses as interventions. So this robot would be able to basically help any person who has a problem. Maybe I don't know if before he dies or afterward, but
Mm,
basically, and I found it like fascinating, and I found it really, especially someone like him, like going on that path and saying, you know what, I want to give everything I know and put it into this so it will live beyond me
mhm,
and actually I salute these people who are kind of willing to experiment, because at this stage it's still an experiment, right?
mhm.
You don't know like how this will work and what would be the consequences.
Right.
But I found it fascinating, and uh, but I am more conservative, I would say, when it comes to that aspect. When it comes to determinism, which I think the idea that we have a fate and it's fixed, I don't believe in that. I believe that we are creatures of choice, and we have always this. We decide what we want, and in life, and of course we are influenced by so many factors, but at the end we have a choice, and this choice is very important to take it seriously.
That went deep. That went really deep. Did
Hmm.
you know Elon Musk just did talk about these robots that he's he's going to create, and it also reminded me of another movie called iRobot, which the robots got pissed for being servants and rose up, right? So I always wonder with these kinds of things, is it going to turn out like Terminator, or like what's going on? But I'm all about AI. Like I think it's so fascinating. What do you think,
Uh,
Matilda?
Well, I think that's where we should put investment in. That's where the future is. Well, I don't know. It can be very scary, but I think that's where the world is going towards. I'm sure in 50 years later, we will have more of this. And I was working on a startup, and I've seen a lot of in the community, in your community, there were a lot of people investing in AI. So I think that's where the future is and the money is. So I'm listening to opportunities right now.
You have to, because look, I mean, we were like young when Apple was blowing up, and probably teenagers when the dot-com thing happened. You got to jump on stuff these days, like crypto and AI. In fact, one of my former students, he was on an episode of Hot Topics Live. You have to go back through the episodes, but I think it's called Leaps of Consciousness with Diru Shifu, and he is a Shaolin monk, but he also is he mentors and works with a lot of CEOs in China, and he's really involved in AI and helping to create the Bill of Rights. So that's just like, we talked about that a little bit on that episode. So you have to look on our Hot Topics Live Facebook page. I think it's on YouTube. I made them public, all the old ones. So you can go back through. I'm actually going to make some playlists because we have so many topics. So it's hard for people to find. So this one will be one of my first ones in the playlist for business and that kind of thing. So you'll be able to find these episodes easier based on what you like. But I think that's really interesting, the whole AI thing. And I think it is going to be quite an advancement. And what we'll see in the next 10 years between crypto and AI is going to be like, hey, I'm a futurist. I've been hedging this for a while. So 10 years, that's my 2030s. Keep watching for that. So Fouad, I have more questions for you.
yeah.
Okay, so I want to know some things, like, because you're a strategist, right? And we all have to lead. Like I said in the beginning of the show, we're always leading. Sometimes when you're in a partnership, like Matilda's a newlywed, sometimes she's got to lead in the relationship and sometimes she's got to follow. But how can we inspire people to follow our leadership effectively?
Mm. Well, I
Yeah, I
think
need
that
that a lot. I need to lead Sasha a lot. Sometimes he doesn't obey.
I don't know if it's supposed to be obeyed.
yeah.
Mm,
I think the starting point has to be that, being true to ourselves. I think we will not be able to influence or inspire people if we're not true to ourselves. And when I mean true to ourselves, is we true to the values we stand for, and to our purpose. Each one of us, we have a purpose. We have something that we are willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen. It's something beyond us. It's something that give us. We have some passions, and once we have these, our life is aligned with this. Then people would be inspired by us, and then if you add to this the this desire to continuously grow, to continuously get better, also it inspire people around us. Why? Because everything in life is designed this way. Everything grows by nature. So when we grow consciously, we inspire people to go on that path as well. And so being aligned with our purpose, with our values, having a vision that excites us, and we wake up every day to make it happen, and then also to continuously grow and contribute and help people around us and caring for people around us. I think when we have these, we would be able to influence and inspire and lead a lot of people. I think some people, what they do is they try to jump and want to kind of uh, like influence and get people following them without having this foundation right. And I think it's a big mistake, because even if you will get, I mean, you can manipulate people, you can get people following you, but it will not be something sustainable, and more important, you will not be fulfilled through this. And when you lead people from the right place, when you are true to yourself, leading them and having them with you, it just gives you like amazing feeling of fulfillment and satisfaction and joy, because you are aligned.
I love what you're saying because you're aligned and you're true to your purpose. But okay, some people might ask, how can you even know what is your purpose? Let's like one step back. How can you help people to understand their purpose so they can be true to it, so they can be inspiring for people around them?
Yeah. Well, I think, I mean, at the end, we can only talk from our own experience and our journey, and some of it is connected to a lot of people, some of it is more personal. But I think there is one guy, he wrote like a series of books, very interesting books. His name is Robert Greene. He wrote a book called Mastery, another book, Power, 48 Laws of Power. But in the book Mastery, and he has a TED talk, which is really interesting about like, it's called The Keys to Self-Transformation. And there he talks about how he was lost until his 40s, and he was doing all kind of jobs, and he never found it, and he wanted to be a writer. And he told the story how he was sitting with this very well-known kind of editor or publisher, and he said, you know what, forget about this thing being a writer, because you are not meant to be so. But then when he found like this niche in writing, and it just turned him on so much. And as I say, the rest is history. And look at the books he's written. Like nobody written like books like his. But in the book Mastery, he talks about how a lot of this great, people like Darwin, like Beethoven, like I'm not sure Beethoven, Mozart, but I think a lot of people who accomplished amazing things in their life, like when they were little, they had this kind of like spark when they look at something, or when they work on something. And this is something that we need to always kind of try to get close to. And what happened is, when we are little, it was so around us and we were kind of close to it. But then, because of the noise, and this is what Kia just said about Jay-Z, right? So the fact that we listen too much to what others think about things, and what others think about us, and about what we are passionate about, and then suddenly we don't we lose the compass, and that's what happens. So I think, the things that we were really passionate about, and we loved and we enjoyed when we were little, and the dreams we had and the aspirations when we were little, I think it has a lot to do with this. And I mean, I still remember when I wanted to do this work, I had a great teacher, and I was telling him, I want to do this, and he told me like, would you die for this? Would you die for doing this work, which is about like developing leaders, and doing this work in organization and coaching and all this? And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, why would I die? I mean, for something. And I remember, like, after a couple of months or so, I said, you know what? I think what he meant, would you give your life for it? Would you just keep trying? And would you never give up until you kind of do this thing, and you would do it most of your life? And absolutely, yes. So this is the thing, that what do you value? What are you passionate about? What you believe in? And what would you give your life for? I think it's a questions, and I think if you keep asking these questions and you are willing to listen, you start to get hints for the answer.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. I think
Okay.
you're on mute, Kia.
Yeah.
my kids were making noise, and I always forget to unmute myself. So anyway, Sasha has a great question, and so let's dive into this. So it says, to work on yourself, you use self-improvement. Do you think it is a trend in Western society? It is kind of a luxury for a lot of people. No, I don't agree with that, Sasha. I don't think. I mean, it might be a trend. It might be a trend that started in Western society, but I don't think it's a luxury. I think everyone can do it. It's equal. for everybody everywhere. It's a choice, it's a personal choice, like taking the vaccine, right? Like you just have to decide, right? What do you think, Fouad?
Um, I think that for me, the answer is, life is more fun when we are on this journey. I think at least has been my experience. Like you can enjoy life more, you can touch people more, you can feel more fulfilled when you do this, when you do this work. And now, of course, some people actually, and I have to say, I fell in this trap as well. They do it for distraction, like at some point, or they do it for numbing themselves. So another book would be just a way. It's a drug, So you read that book, and it's a kind of a way to, again, Brian, he talks about it in London Real, like, and a lot of people talks about this, which is it become procrastination. So you really want to, if you're just honest with yourself, like why you're doing it, and like if it's leading to results or not. And I think when it's leading to results, it's amazing feeling. It's a great feeling when you suddenly, for example, you enter a room, and this is something which used to happen to me. I enter a room like full of people, and I don't feel secure. I don't feel safe. And I'm like, what are they talking about? What are they talking about me now? Or something like this. And now you go to the room, and it's like, you love these people. Even you don't know them yet, but it's just like you feel more safe, right? Or you stand in front of a group of people, and you can not only speak to them, but you can really connect to them because you really care about them, and you want to inspire them, instead of saying, what will they talk about me now, and how can I be, how can I look good. And so suddenly you're thinking about them, and this is what's powerful, I think.
I have a question. Another question. I was watching your Instagram, and I saw a lot of clips about you working out, and you're inspiring other people to work on their physical body. And for me, it was like a question to ask from you. Do you see a link between transforming your physical body to transforming your life as well? How do you see that?
Yeah, I think, I mean, to me, I still remember one of the first things I started to do when I was waking up. I started to wake up early was physical exercise, and I think you cannot really work on your mindset if you don't work also on your body and do some physical training. But one of the things I notice is that when I'm overweight, when I'm like, I have a big belly, when I'm kind of putting my clothes on and they don't fit well, it just like the feeling I have in the morning, it's disappointment toward myself. And this feeling, in a way, I carry with me throughout the day. And it influences all the interaction I have with other people in a way. So on the other hand, when and I'm not talking about like having like, again, like being super fit and having six pack and all this, but I'm saying like just being like having good physical body, and like being healthy and being energized, it makes a big difference. Like when I put my clothes on, I feel different. I look at myself in my mirror, I say like, I look good, and this feeling is priceless. And this is what, again, I in a way we all take with us. And don't get me wrong, like sometimes I overeat, sometimes I miss like certain routines or habits which are for me important. But the most important thing, I never accept that I would stop. I will always get back. I will always, put myself back on track and continue. And this is something which is so important. And the workout you're talking about, it's been something I've been doing for 7 months now, and it's every morning we do like kind of a variation of burpees together with other exercises, and we include some like gratitude and even affirmations and meditation and stuff like this, and it's kind of like mindset training in a way. And for me, it changed my life, and it's just and whatever I think this is something for me, like every day. I used to think before, like I work out like 3 times a week or 4 times or 5 times, but then it became like, no, this is my lifestyle, and I will always be active.
Very nice.
Yeah, I love
I'm
that.
struggling on that part. I have to make myself. I don't know. It's been. I'm struggling in my weight right now, and it's kind of a new concept for me. I never had a weight issue, but now I'm gaining weight. I don't know. It's the marriage life, maybe. Don't get married, guys. But maybe it's the new. I don't know, my life situation. I don't have the routine of it, and I'm kind of surprised at myself that I'm letting myself go. And I know that I'm letting myself go, but somehow I cannot stop that. I'm working on that, and I feel like, and the reason it resonated with me a lot, because I'm also realizing that if you don't have control over your body, how can you have control over your life? So that's what I'm realizing right now. My life is not in my control because maybe my body is not still. So
Yeah.
You know what I think about that, Matilda, and which I really appreciate your vulnerability as well, both of you actually. And I definitely have been there so many times in my life. In fact, just in May, I went through COVID, right? And somehow I got sick in January. I had mono, and I was sick for 3 months, right? And so there was a lot of takeout going on because, you know, I'm a single mom. So, and a lot of being in bed because it's mono, right? All you do is lay in bed. You're so tired. So I came out of this, right? And I went to do a photo shoot for my Instagram. And I did the photo shoot. And when I got the pictures back, I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize I put so much weight on. And I couldn't see it until I saw it in the pictures. Okay. I still published them because that's life. But I right then is where it was like my catalyst to go, okay, what do I need to do? And what I did was what I'm doing, because I'm still working it through, is I went back to something I loved when I was younger, which was weight training. And so I'm not like you, Fouad. I'm not there every day with it yet. But it is a lifestyle, but I do something almost every day. But I do weight train a lot. And I noticed George, thank you, honey. I'm gonna do another photo shoot next month, maybe 2. For my birthday's next month, so I'm got to do a photo shoot. So thank you for that. But I did something I loved, right? And so I think what I found, what was for me, Matilda, was that there was a root cause of the reason why. It wasn't just that I had mono and just that I was ordering out a lot, because those were choices I made, right? There was a root cause of why I had let myself go, we'll say, a bit during that winter, spring portion of this lockdown situation. So I would say that it's something that you got to look inside about and really locate the source, because whatever is outside of you, whether it's, you know, your body or your house that's not quite tidy, it's a reflection of what's going on inside of you. So whatever the root is, once you isolate that, then everything will be able to shift for you. As far as that goes, and always, if you ever need support, I got you, girl. So, okay, I just want to bring this question. I love Sasha so much. And he has another question. He has another thought that I want to share. Okay. So, he's part of the family. He's the soul tribe. So we're going to do this. All right. So he says in a lot of countries, people don't have access to self-improvement. The society or the situation push them generally to resilience. The pressure could be a trauma on them. Choices related to consciousness. I agree on some regard with that, but I also think self-improvement, it comes from a desire within you. So you don't necessarily need things like, you don't have to buy courses, or you don't have to like get books, or, I mean, a lot of stuff you can learn for free on YouTube. It's everywhere, like this show right now. And so I think it is kind of a choice, but you won't make that choice if you're not conscious about your life. And I do, like, if you look at certain countries, like look at Afghanistan right now, the people there are being pushed towards being resilient, right? They're going to need to dig deep, and their first priority is not going to be like doing the inner work at this moment. Okay, so I think you have to be in the environment where you can't, it is a luxury to that extent, to where you're not just thinking, how am I going to eat, how am I going to be alive tomorrow, once you got those basic needs met, then you can start really thinking about, how can I improve and heal this trauma? Because I think you're in the trauma, or whatever trauma you're in, if you can't, if your basic needs are not being met, and one of them is being safe, right? How are you going to work on self-improvement if you
Yeah,
don't feel
true.
even safe that you're going to live tomorrow, right?
Yeah,
So
that's right. That's right.
I get your point. I get your point. What do you think, Fawaz?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I agree with you that self improvement is not books. I mean, books are just vehicle.
Mhm.
But as long as you have conscious, and you're listening to it, your conscience, and and as long as you have reflection and self awareness and observation, so you observe others and how their choices, what are they leading to in terms of results, and your own choices, and you're listening to your conscience in a way that it's always telling you, like, you know don't do this, or do this is good, this is not. As long as just by just this simple thing, which we all have access to, we can improve. So books are great, but it doesn't have to be this way. So yeah.
And also, I think there is this desire. You have to have like some sort of a desire to do bigger things, or to do, and kind of a self-esteem. Not, yeah, self-esteem is important, to know that you deserve better and you can do better. And I'm
Mhm.
sure, like right now, even what we're seeing in Afghanistan, and it's devastating. We're going to see months and years to come all the refugees that are going to come maybe to America and
Mhm.
Switzerland. There are going to be some amazing ones that they've seen a lot of trauma, but still they manage to get all the strengths in their being and do amazing things in their life, and they can achieve a lot. So I think it's character as well, more than anything. It's finding this something in you, in your
Yeah.
being.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and I mean, I love this quote by, I think, Carl Jung. He says something like, "Until you make the unconscious conscious,
Mm.
it
Mhm.
will control your life, and you will call it
Yeah.
fate."
Mhm. I
So,
love that.
and this is where, again, having this self awareness and having this desire to improve the results we're getting in our life is key.
Mm.
Mhm.
Very
Absolutely.
nice.
So, we are at 53 minutes, and we have a little bit more time yet. So I'm not rushing off or anything like that. But I just want to talk about your podcast a little bit,
Yeah.
and talk about why you created it and what it's all about.
Yeah, so my podcast is designed, or its purpose is to create positive change in organizations, and mainly around people. So there are a lot of things around leadership and organizations and workplace. But my podcast is about, like, how you can create positive change on a large scale within organizations. And this was my obsession in a way, and my work. And So I interview a lot of leaders, CEOs, consultants, researchers, professors. It's been amazing. I met a lot of really great people, and I was kind of lucky to get their perspective on things, and which enriched me, and I think it enriched a lot of my listeners. And It was an amazing journey. So I still remember the first two episodes I recorded, where I felt I fell from a plane, and I didn't know how I landed. But I mean, actually, believe it or not, the very first interview, I did it in my car with CEO of Agility, or the ex CEO of Agility, and I don't know how it worked. I mean, I know that at one point, one of the cameras, like, battery died, and somehow I have like I had the still a recording. So, but yeah, it was one of those things. Like I knew when I started the podcast, it's just it will be like a very interesting journey, and yeah, so I loved it.
Awesome. And you do a whiteboard series too, right? That's a video series and a podcast.
Yeah, I have the Whiteboard series, which is basically I talk for like my own perspectives on leading people, and especially like if you have a big company, how you can make change. Let's say if you have like 5,000 people or 50,000 people, how you can change your company at speed, and making, I mean, like changing the results, but also changing the culture and making people excited to go with you on this journey to improve things and fulfilled. So usually you have two school of thoughts, which is like one is you say like people and make them happy and all this, and other schools is like results and just focus on that. And what if you can take both and you really kind of push them to the highest level at the same time? And this is for me, this has been my obsession, like how we can achieve both at the same time.
That's amazing. I need to
Thank
listen
you.
to your podcast.
Thank you.
But at the moment I have a problem with leading myself. Lots of times I know what I have to do, but I cannot make myself to do that. Do you have any tips for that? How to lead your own self?
Yeah, I mean, I think like so whatever you want to you want to do is connecting it to a vision, and then connecting it to a purpose, I think. So, and what's the difference between, so you have tasks, you have goals, you have vision, you have purpose. So the difference between, at least, vision and goals, for example, vision is something very vivid, and it's like how things will look when you achieve this goal. It will be, for example, let's say the goal is I want to kind of lose like 10 kilos, right? But the vision is I want to be healthy. I want to be vibrant. I want, when I look at myself in the mirror, I feel great. I want, when I walk out the door of my place, I feel excited, I feel energized. But then a purpose is something beyond that. I want to have all this for my kids. I want, like, when my boy is 18 years old and he's graduating from school and going to university, I want to be standing by him and I'm vibrant, and he is so happy that I am beside him and he's like my friend. I want to be there on the graduation of at his university, right? So kind of it's something beyond yourself, it becomes. So connecting it to a vision, connecting it to a purpose, this is something which is, because people like say, I want to lose 10 kilos. I mean, who would be like excited about that?
Yeah, I'm
you
not.
know but when you say, and I still remember, like I was struggling for a period of time, and I had this great teacher, and every time we were having call like every 2 weeks, and every time I found like one problem I need to fix it myself. And I remember he told me, you know what, if this is your attitude, you will never have enough, you know um, from problems. You will always find problems. But what if you create a vision for yourself? What if you go and think about what kind of person and leader you want to be? So changing, just it's almost the same, and but so kind of, but starting with what's the end, in what's the end I'm after, what's the vision I'm after, and what's the purpose of that. And I still remember when I sat down and I wrote this, I was like so excited. It gave me so much great energy. And actually, it's interesting because then when I was doing research around leadership, I found that was a consultant. He studied and he listened to all these meetings, like for planning and in the organization, and he found when in problem solving sessions that the energy start to go lower and lower and lower. And he created something he would call envisioned future, which is, he said, instead of looking at problems, always think about visions, and like what are the opportunities, and look at this and explore this, and this creates so much great energy. So this is what I would recommend, is always think about what you want, and make it vivid, exciting, like stretch, and then connect it to a higher purpose.
Very nice. I'm going to work on it. I want to start leading myself, and then
Yeah.
and then see if I can lead Sasha at some point.
That's a good strategy. So which brings me to my next point. That could probably be another book for you, and I know that you have a book, at least
Yeah.
one, coming
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
So let's talk about it.
Yeah, I have actually two in the making, but the first one is Inspire Your People, and it's a book about leadership, but it's written in a different way, and it's like passages, and the passages are about different areas around leadership. For example, the mindset of leadership, which is what are the beliefs and principles. For example, one of the passages is I believe in people. And it goes something like this: I believe in people, in the power of people, in the unlimited potential of people. I believe that the biggest asset of any organization is people, and things like that. So, again, it talks about, like, for example, listening and the importance of listening, and coaching and delegating not so I can free my agenda, so I can do things. No, it's delegating to empower them, to give them like this opportunity to do new things, to stretch them so they can grow, they can become better, so they can tomorrow's leaders, right? So yeah, this is this book, and I'm in the final stage right now in the editing phase. I'm very excited about sharing it and publishing it. And the other one is more about life inspiration. It's called Inspire Your Life. So yeah.
Love it.
I love it.
Yeah, it's really inspiring. I like the passages, and the one you were sharing is really good. I think a lot of leaders can be more, at least here in the States, when you're more engaged with your people and inspire them to work for you, you get a better team around you. And when they're inspired instead of afraid, right?
Yeah.
So amazing stuff. So tell me, I know that you're on LinkedIn and you do some live videos and stuff on LinkedIn. How can we connect with you on LinkedIn?
So on LinkedIn, it's just Dr. Fouad Alame. You can find me, and yeah, I'm much more active there, and I share a lot on leadership and also a little bit on life inspiration, but mostly leadership. And we go live sometimes, and also yeah, share videos and all kind of content there.
Awesome. So, well, we are at an hour and 2 minutes. And I wonder, Matilda, if you have any more questions for Fawad.
Well, I have a lot of questions, but I think maybe we should have him another time as well to ask the
for
rest of the
sure.
question. But I loved what you're saying, and I'm looking forward for your books as well, because you what I'm taking from you is, if you want to lead other people, first you have to lead yourself. So you have to master yourself. And
Sure.
I'm in the phase of mastering myself, because lots of times I'm being stubborn to myself, let alone to other people. And I'm working on it, because if I want to have the life that I want, first I need to make myself to do things that I need to become to that phase. So I'm very much interested in those advices of yours, and I'm going to listen to your podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So tell us everywhere we can find you: LinkedIn, Instagram.
Yeah. So Instagram, I have two accounts. One is, again, Dr. Fouad Alami, and this is on leadership and self transformation, and the other one is more personal. But I'm sharing a lot from Inspire Your Life, the book. I have also some. I play Spanish guitar, so I have some videos like playing guitar there, and I post a lot of things about nature. So these are the two main, platform where I'm active.
What is the second account on Instagram?
So it's Fouad Alame, just without doctor. Yeah,
Ah, okay.
yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
gonna put that.
Fouad, where are you from originally?
I'm from Lebanon originally. Yeah,
Oh, nice.
yeah, yeah,
Do you
and
still have people in Lebanon right
yeah,
now?
of course. Yeah, yeah. My parents there. Yeah.
Oh my God, what's happening there? This is terrifying.
Yeah, it's very very challenging. I was there just like a couple of weeks ago, so it's very
Wow.
sad how it is right now. So uh, hoping that it will get better. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
Oh my
Lots of
goodness.
bad things are in that area happening right
yeah, yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
And I'm from
heartbreaking.
Iran, so lots of bad things are
Ah,
happening in
really?
Iran as
Okay,
well. So
Iran. Yeah, yeah,
uh, it's devastating situation.
yeah,
I hope
Mhm.
Western world can see us what's happening out in our country so they can help
yeah,
us.
yeah.
Mm. Well, I tell you, the veterans, the veteran community is in an uproar right now, and all of my peers and people are mobilizing. I'm so impressed and proud of my community to see them when our government has made its decisions. Veterans are making their decisions and they have the skills and the know-how to get things done, and to see the things that are being done and enacted on our own is just incredible. And so I'm proud of the community. So hopefully, we'll see more and more things like that occurring, to see people who care and want to help and create positive change. So yeah.
We need great leaders. We need them to read Fouad's book so they can become a great leader, so they can lead the humanity in the right direction.
Absolutely. They need to be inspired and transform on the inside, thereby transforming on the outside, thereby they can transform other people. Thank you, Carla. What a lovely thing to say. And I do love, everybody seems to love Matilda as the co-host. And so I will have her back
Thank
more
you.
often. I love that. I have a lot of fun.
Thank you, Carla.
So, Fawad, I want to say thank you so much for being a guest. I really loved having you
Thank you
as a
so
guest
much.
here. So I appreciate that. And oh, George, Argentina. I know it's been a crazy, it's been crazy. We'll just say that it's been crazy everywhere. It's crazy everywhere.
Yes.
What is going on? Do you think, one more question? Do you think there's a major reset happening globally? What do
You're
you
asking
think,
me
Fawad?
about. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
asking me about it.
Yes. Last
Uh,
question.
I, I mean, I always believe that things, gets better. I think someone wrote a book. It's called Progress, and it talks about how, if you look at the history of humanity, where we are right now, there are so many like positive things that happen, and so we have a lot of crisis, disasters, and but overall the trend on many levels, it's improving. And I think this is for sure, this crisis, to me at least, it's kind of a where it will be something like you said, it's a reset, but actually there will be something positive coming out of it. I think it's still now early to know like what is this, but think about like the amount of travel we were traveling, think about the fast pace we were going at, and the consumption and all kind of things. I mean, I personally, I mean, I look at my closet, I'm like, I mean, look how much stuff I have, and I was still going to the shop every second week, maybe, like, and buying more stuff, and so now for the last maybe 18 months, I haven't bought stuff, and this is good. So, but for sure, there are a lot of positive things that come out of this, and that's how I believe life is, is designed in a way that it keeps improving. I think if you look at it in a very narrow way, you will not see, how it's improving. But if you zoom out, you'll be able to see the trend, and this is what's important, like to see the big picture, not just piece of it.
Yeah. How about you, Matilda?
Well, I don't know. I'm thinking, yeah, it's going to a certain direction. But I'm reading a lot of history books right now. I was reading about Louis 16 and
Hmm.
actually about Spanish Civil War. I was reading about it 2 days ago, about Franco. And I'm realizing, the world is the way it is. I cannot do anything about it as a personal level. What I have to do is to live my life as best as I can. And as we know, history has been like this we're always dealing with a problem from Cleopatra time till now. Okay, we have advanced machinery and science, but the human problem is the same. Even if we fix now, something else will gonna happen. So me as a human being is just to be happy, to keep myself happy, because I have one life and I have to enjoy it, and to enjoy it the best way possible. So I need to understand my purpose in life, so I can serve my best way possible to the people around me. And that should be my goal. Where the world is going, I don't know, but honey, I will survive whichever goes, and I will have a good life no matter what. So خلاص.
I love it. I love it. It's a fantastic answer. And I feel you. I derived that same sort of energy after reading The Prince by Machiavelli. I was just like, there's nothing new going on. Just make the best of your life and the impact that you're going to make around you. So I love that. And thank you for sharing it. So Fouad, we are at an hour and 10 minutes. I know it's late for you, so I'm going to put you in the green room. If you have to run, I understand. But if you have time, we'll wrap the show and then we'll meet you there for a proper goodbye.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Matilda, and thank you,
Thank
Kia.
you, Fouad.
It's a pleasure as always. I'll see you in a minute.
That was so lovely.
Yeah, he's lovely. He's really lovely. Okay, so I loved that talk. What did you think about it?
Yeah, I think it's very important, especially what's happening in the world. It's important. His teachings going to be very crucial for where we are standing in life, and I think even to advance our own life also. And I'm thinking like maybe we bring, because I've been thinking about it a couple of days, about all these immigrants going to come to different parts of the world, and if we can teach them how to understand their purpose, and to advance and upper their games, they can be a source of a value to any community they go, instead of a burden. So I think it's very important. And I'm gonna start working on my body. I mean, I don't know, watching his YouTubes, I realized, oh my God, maybe I don't have a grasp on my life right now. It's because I don't have the right body for myself at this moment. So
that's profound.
Yeah.
It's profound.
Diet and exercise, here it comes.
Well, you know what? Also, it's a start. It's, when you want to see results, like nothing builds confidence and purpose like seeing results, right? So when you start putting that work in and you start getting the results from it, it inspires more work and more confidence. And it's like, it's like cleaning your house. You instantly feel better once it's all tidy, right? It's the same thing with your body. So I want to say, Sasha, I just love having you around. Thanks for tuning in. The Prince is also my favorite. I felt that comment. That's it. I'm going to throw it back up there. So yeah, it's also my favorite. That's why I brought it up. But I am also a big history nerd. So I love, we should have like a book talk. Tell me what you're reading, Matilda. Okay. And George, honey, my heart just goes out to you. You may not know this. I don't know if I mentioned it on Hot Topics Live, but I lost my mother in 2018, and it was after a difficult time period in our relationship. In fact, we were not speaking, and it was really, really hard. And it was just because, she was difficult and she would not take her medicine and she needed it. So my tough love approach was the right choice, but it went really sad when she passed away unexpectedly. So it was like, you have a lot of hope for repairing the relationship, and all of that just went when she went. And so I had to learn a lot about forgiveness and all of these things after she passed away. So it was a really tough time period. And it always just breaks my heart. I mean, it always just breaks my heart. So I know that you're having a difficult and emotional day, sweetheart. My heart just goes out to you. And if you need support, you can send me a message. You know that. And speaking of sending me a message, don't forget, everybody, don't send me a friend request on Facebook. And in fact, I'm nearing my limit. Okay, so go and follow me on Instagram, right? That's, if you want to connect with me, that's the best way to do it. And you can send me a message. I'll look and see, as long as it's not like an inappropriate message, then or a dick pic, but we're good on those. I think we finally got that message out that those are not coming anymore. So thank you. But as long as you're sending me a nice message, I'll respond to it. So follow me on Instagram right here. There's everywhere you can reach me on Instagram. And so don't send me a friend request. Just follow me there. You can also follow Matilda on Instagram at Coffee with Matilda. So this is hers right here. So follow her there. You can check out her podcast. You can find it anywhere you listen to podcasts, right, Matilda?
Yes. And YouTube and Facebook as well.
Yes. And Podcasters Unleashed. We can't not talk about Podcasters
Unleashed.
Unleashed.
Podcasters Unleashed. Yes. I'm
Right?
telling my friends right now.
So
every
we love
Monday,
them.
every Monday, Podcasters Unleashed, we're like 5 or /6. One of them might not be showing up for a while, but we're 6 podcasters around the world sharing our thoughts. We're debating about any topic you name it, and current events. We were talking about Afghanistan last one. So every Monday, 7 p.m. London time, we're on.
Excellent. It's a good show. I watch it. So and these are my students. They're my babies.
Yes.
And they're doing big, great things on YouTube, and they're having great talks. I tuned in for the vaccine one most recently. I missed the Afghanistan one, and I really wanted to see it. So I'm just started watching it on YouTube, and I will finish it when I have time. But it is it's an interesting to hear everybody talk about it, and with 2 military people on Podcasters Unleashed, Simon from the UK, who served in Afghanistan, and Nelson also from here in the States. So I think it's a lot of great perspectives on all these different topics. I like you guys talked about what was it you talked about? It was a male and female perspective you did a while ago. And then I know when you guys were guests on here, you can find my Podcasters Unleashed episode when we talked about toxic masculinity and toxic femininity. So that was a good one too. And I love the show. So I think everybody should watch it.
Yes.
So with so much love to you, George, honey. Thanks for always supporting. And so, well, I guess with that, we're going to wrap it up. I want to say thank you so much, Matilda, for being a guest. You're amazing. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Kia, for having me again. And I love your show. I love your energy. And I think everyone should enjoy your energy. So lots of people should tune in. We need more Kias in this world.
Aw,
maybe that's why we won't have bad people in the world. So,
well, with any luck, if everybody's doing their inner work, they're being inspired by lovely people like our guest today, Fouad, and we're taking responsibility for leading our own lives, right? And then spreading that love to the people around us. I mean, in our own little sphere, our own little universe, we can make it as best as we can. And if we're all doing that, then maybe we're making the world a better place collectively.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, anyway, with that, we're going to wrap it up. I love you guys. We'll be back next week. I think my girl Valentina Leo is going to be back from Erotic Wisdom, and we're going to talk about Tantra. So I'm really excited for that one. This is going to be her 4th episode with Hot Topics Live. So if you want to find out why a guy has a magic stick and a woman should be worshipped, then this is the episode for you. So tune in next week. I will confirm, and you can see on Monday who's going to be my guest, and by Tuesday who's going to be my guest co-host. Might it be Matilda? Could it be someone else? We don't know yet. You have to tune in on Tuesday to my Instagram stories and find out. And with that, that's a wrap.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Ciao.
Love you guys. Bye.